So your CFA level 2 fixed income readings, you have in your syllabus, you have 6 readings. The difference from level 1 that you'd realize that level 1 you had good amount of number crunching, relatively small areas on theory, isn't it? You had one topic on MBA, MBO, MBS. At level 2 it's equally divided. So there is 50% of the part which will have some numericals. If you are very good with level 1 FI and if you are very good with level 2 derivative, this part is going to be a piece of cake. Okay, I'm repeating it again. That 50% of level 2 fixed income is numericals. If you are very good with level 1 fixed income calculations like duration, convexity, basic type of calculations, bond valuation, and if you are good with level 2 derivative, especially binomial tree front, you would find that numerical part of level 2 fixed income is very simple, okay, more or less repetitive. Then remaining 50% is theory, and too much of theory and too much to remember. So the strategy here would be that try to make your own notes or have them in the section of choices, and the theory part try to revise again and again and again so you remember those small things. Okay, now what we would be doing as of now is we would spend about 25-30 minutes and we would revise all the important concepts which are required at level 2 from level 1 fixed income. Okay, so let's do some basic terminology. Face value of a bond, coupon rate of a bond, YTM, and maturity. The face value of a bond is used for two purposes. Number one, this is the amount that is given back on maturity. And number two, this is the amount on which coupon is paid. Coupon rate means the amount of cash flows which are given to the bondholder every year, every quarter, every 6 months. This coupon rate is not necessarily same as market interest rate. And therefore, if you're used to calling this as interest rate, stop doing that. Coupon rate is a different concept. Interest rate is a different concept. Coupon rate means the amount of cash flow which would be given to you every quarter or every 6 months or every year. YTM, which means yield to maturity, is what you earn technically on a bond. So if you see a bond which has got coupon of 15% and YTM of 10%, you're not earning 15, you're earning 10%. YTM is also equal to market interest rate. Okay, so the true interest rate in the market is YTM, not the coupon rate, and maturity is of course the life of the bond. So value of any bond is simply present value of future cash flows. Let's do some basic bond valuation questions. Let's say you have a bond which has got face value of 100,000, coupon rate of 15% semi-annual, YTM is 18%, life of the bond, the remaining life is 6 years. Find out what is the market value of this bond. $25. Yes, how many of you getting 89258? That's scary. Can you please raise your hands? Jijo? Yeah. In case if you haven't, second clear TVM. 100,000 is future value. 7,500 is the payment. 12 is the N. 9 is the IY. Compute present value. Next question. Face value of a bond is 1,000. Market value of a bond is 1100. Life of the bond is 3 years. Coupon rate is 8% per annum semi-annual. Find out bond equivalent yield. Bond equivalent yield on this bond. Six. 8 point. 4.4. Is it 4.4? Let's do it together. Second clear TVM minus 1100 present value, 40N, 1000 future value, 6N, 1000 future value, 6N, compute IY, multiply the IY with 2. How much? 4.4 is the YTM of the bond, and it is also bond equivalent yield. Because bond equivalent yield from the fixed income section of your level 1 was the 6 months yield multiplied with 2. Whereas in corporate finance we had a different interpretation, but we wouldn't get into that as of now. 6 months of yield multiplied with 2 is a bond equivalent yield. So all the semi-annual bonds in US and all the treasury bonds are semi-annual bonds except the zero coupon bonds. So the yield that are available are bond equivalent yields, which are nothing but 6 month yield multiplied with 2. Clear? Okay. Now the most important point. 99% of the candidates, even the ones who've passed, are generally confused with these three concepts. Number one is spot price. Spot interest rate. Number two is forward interest rate, and number three is YTMs. What is the difference with each another? What is the spot rate? What is the forward interest rate? What is a YTM? First, we will start using spot rate and forward interest rate. How do you think is? This is a base. Spot rate is a true rate. This is everything starts from spot rate. Once spot rates are available, and how are the spot rates available? Based on different theories of term structure. Which were the theories? Pure expectation theory, then liquidity preference theory, and then segmentation or preferred habitat theory. Fortunately, the same theories are also there in your syllabus at level 2, so we'll get to study them again. Based on different theories, these spot rates are derived. By doing some calculations on the spot rates, we've derived the forward rates. Those calculations we call them as bootstrapping. Going forwards or backwards, from forward to spot, from spot to forward. That calculation at level 1 we call that as bootstrapping. Once the forward rates were available, then, in fact not forward rates, but then some complex average of spot rates were YTMs. Some complex mathematical average of spot rates are YTMs. So we'll do an example and then I'll prove all the three. How does it work? Okay. Are you done writing this? So let's take one example. Let us say you have a bond which has got cash flows of 100, 100 and 1100. No, in fact we need one more. So 1100, 4 cash flows. What data we have as of now is 1 year spot rate is 10%. I'm intentionally going to keep a big gap so that we understand the concept. 2 year is 15%, 3 year is 20%, and 4th year is 40%. These are my spot rates. These are my spot rates. We want to, step number 1, find out the value of bond. The logic you want to remember here is, if you have a 1 year cash flow and you have a 1 year spot rate, 1 year spot rate will be used for 1 year cash flow. 2 year spot rate will only be used for 2 year cash flow, so on and so forth. Okay, so respective cash flow for respective spot rate. So the value of the bond would be this cash flow discounted at the rate of 10% for 1 year, this cash flow discounted at the rate of 15% for 2 years, so on and so forth. So let's start finding out the value of bond. 100 divided by 1.1 STO1, 100 divided by 1.1 STO1, 100 divided by 1.15 x square, 100 divided by 1.15 x square STO2, then 100 divided by bracket open, 100 divided by bracket open 1.2 y raised to x3 bracket close equal to STO3, correct? And 1.4 x square twice, 1.4 x square twice 1 by x button multiplied with 1100 STO4. And now take a total of all the 4 memory slots, RCL 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, 173. So this is how we derive the value of bond. Is that correct? Anyone struggling to get the answer? Now, once you know this, I can also derive the value of bond using different forward rates. So how do I calculate different forwards? I can calculate too many forward rates from here, but let me calculate 1 year forward rate 1 year from now. So 1.15 square divided by 1.1. I want the answer up to 4 decimals, minus 1. Approximately all of us know that answer would be close to 20. 20.223. Okay. Let's have 2 decimals. Is there anyone who's not getting the answer? Near hai? Are you not getting the answer, or do you know, you don't know what is the logic? Logic नहीं पता, उसको time लगेगा. We can't do that. 1 year forward rate 1 year from now is 1.15 square divided by 1.1. The intuition is, just to give you an idea, if I invest for 2 years at the rate of 15%, 100 rupees will become X amount. If I invest for 1 year at the rate of 10%, 100 will become 110. What is that rate at which 110 will become X in 1 year is 1 year forward rate 1 year from now. You can get the answer using approximation also. How? For 2 years in totality you're getting 30. For 1 year you're getting 10. 30 minus 10, for that year you should get about 20. Okay, so when we go to that area we will understand the logic for this also, but now just do the calculations. Let us now calculate a 2-year forward rate 1 year from now. A 2-year forward rate 1 year from now. How do you calculate this? 1.2 raised to 3 divided by 1.1 under root. How much? 25.34. Let's calculate a 3-year forward rate 1 year from now. 1.4 raised to 4 divided by 1.1 cube root. 0.72. Now I'm again going to value the bond, but this time around I'm going to value the bond using a combination of spot rate and forward rates. So with this I can derive another 6-7 different combinations of forward rate, and I can have another 6-7 valuation metrics, and all of them will give the same answer. Let's see. This 100 which is coming to me 1 year from now, simply divided by 1.1. But next 100 which is coming to me 2 years from now, earlier we divided with 2 year spot rate. Now what we will do is, and please try to understand this, these are my 2 years, this is time 0, this is time 2, this is where I get. Two ways of deriving the value. One is I simply use a 2 year spot rate, or I first discount this 100 for 1 year at this rate and bring it 1 year backwards, and then discount again 100 for 1 year and again bring it 1 year backwards. Correct? What is the rate here? 1 year forward rate 1 year from now. And what is the rate here? 10%. So the answer here is 1.1 into 1.2023 plus this 100. So this 100 which is 3 years from now, first I will discount backwards for 2 years using 2 year forward rate 1 year from now, and then discount backwards again for 1 year using 1 year spot rate. So divided by 1.1 into 1.2534 raised to 2 plus, with the same logic, 1100 divided by 1.1 into 1.5172 raised to 3. Now please take total of all the three and tell me how much. Same. So again the value of bond would come out to be 510.73. Is it? It's same. Now this calculation is nothing but fooling around with the numbers, because if you just want to compare, the second cash flow is 100 divided by 1.15 square. Solve for this number, okay, and compare that with 1.15 square is the same. So we just decompose that 1.15 square into two parts. 1.15 for 2 years. So पहले साल का 10% है. If the first year is 10%, how much was the second year? And this multiplication 1.1 into 1.2023 is going to be same as this. This multiplication is going to be same as this, and this multiplication is going to be same as this. The answer has to be same. Is that correct? Now the last part. So we know now what is a spot, we know what is a forward. The last part is YTM. A YTM is an average number used for simplicity. It is not a true interest rate. A YTM is a average number used for simplicity. It is not a true interest rate. So 510.73 was the bond price. Now we know that how 510.73 was derived by this equation, correct? Using different rates for different maturities. But for me it's difficult to calculate different rates at different maturity. So can I just have a single rate X here which will satisfy the equation like IRR? Can I have a single rate like X which will satisfy the equation so that I will get 510.73? And what would be that single rate? It would be some sort of average with these rates. 10%, 15%, 20%, 40%. So that would be an YTM. So how do you solve? Second clear TVM minus 510.73 present value, 100 payment, 1000 future value, 4 is N. Compute IY. 34.18. And what you would always appreciate is YTM would generally be close to this. In this example, it's going a bit away because these values are very, very small. So YTM is nothing but a complex mathematical average of these four numbers, and YTM would always be very, very close to the last maturity spot rate. So spot rates are true rates, forward rates are bootstraps or derived from spot rates, and YTM is a complex mathematical average of all the spot rates. Any questions? A zero coupon bond, if that's what you want to say, yes. Spot rate is the YTM on a zero coupon bond, because zero coupon bond will have only one cash flow, and therefore YTM and spot rate would be same. How do you calculate spot rate? You don't calculate, there is no formula. Demand and supply. So do you mean to say that from where do we get this? So that's what you're saying. How do I know that 1 year spot rate is 10%? Demand and supply. So the question that you're asking is how interest rate is determined. And interest rate is determined by so much of finance we've been studying for last 2 years. All those variables, all those economic variables would go into this. So now if you want to see where do I find out spot rates, a very easy way, a good approximation of spot rate is, I was just searching this yesterday. If you go and find out fixed deposit rates of a bank, so let's say term deposit rates. So these are the spot rates. Since most of you are in that category here, if you want to invest for about a year, you would get 8.25%. But if you want to invest for more, up to 2 years, the 2 year spot rate is about, am I reading it correctly, about 9.5. But up to 10 years, 9.25. So these are different spot rates, and not necessary that spot rates increase with maturity, right? Because it's a complex phenomenon of lot of different theories and a lot of different behaviors. But these are the spot rates for a safe borrower, like not ICCI, not necessarily safe borrower, but let's say a safe banking borrower. These are the rates. So if you decide to borrow, add some premium. How do I decide the premium? Go to a credit rating agency, they will do your credit rating, compare that with ICICI Bank. How much lesser you are, add that much of spread, and then that's how you get the spot rates for different borrowers. Any question? Good. So we're through with the day.